All right.
Yay.
Okay. Technology.
All
Um,
right.
well, good afternoon again, everyone, and welcome to this webinar on nutrition for older adults. And Stacy, we're so happy to see you. You're facing the place. Okay. Um, I want to say a few things about Stacy. For those that don't know me, I'm Reverend Dr. Barbara Galloway-Lee with Daybreak, and I am the one of the family caregiver support coordinators. What I do is hold a support group at Beth Eden Baptist Church, a live group once a week, every Tuesday from 11 not 11, from noon to about 1:30. And it's a great group. And Stacy has been a presenter several times with our Memory Care Cafe. And we were just so delighted that she agreed to present in this webinar. And Stacy, we see a lot of initials behind your name. We see BSN, RN, CPAN, and we know that you're the surgical coordinator in San Leandro. So tell us a little about yourself and your responsibilities with Kaiser. Just jump right into your overview for nutrition for older adults. And I'm an older adult, and I see some other older adults online. So thank you again, and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. So happy to be here. So as Barbara mentioned, we've been participating with the Daybreak Memory Cafe for about 2 years now, year and a half, presenting various topics. I am a nurse as my background, a surgical post-op recovery nurse was my specialty, and also an emergency department nurse. I went into education probably about 15, 20 years ago, and then moved into quality. Currently with Kaiser, I am a program manager for a geriatric surgical program. Then I oversee San Leandro and Fremont Hospital for the program. So we do a lot of education around geriatric vulnerabilities and specifically how surgery relates to those vulnerabilities. And one of those vulnerabilities being malnutrition. So I did a presentation at the Memory Cafe. And so Barbara invited me to share with you all about the risks of malnutrition and how we can focus on improving our nutrition for our geriatric population. So I'm happy to be here and to share with you all today.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you speak to areas of need, including, I mean, for seniors, including the need around diabetes or heart health or weight management, or any other needs that you perceive around for nutrition in that area?
Yeah, some of the biggest risks for our geriatric population are deficiencies in nutrition around vitamin D, B12, calcium, and protein deficiencies. Those tend to be the top four. And then, if you have a chronic condition like diabetes, or heart failure, then there's, other aspects that put you at risk for malnutrition and nutritional deficiencies. So, specifically around diabetes, we're concerned with our sugar intakes. Managing those blood sugars can, be very tricky. So eating a balanced diet, low in sugar, high in fiber, and high in balanced nutrition, high in fruit and vegetables is really important. When you have conditions like congestive heart failure, we're concerned more about our salt intake. And so balancing, our intake and managing that sodium intake is really important. And then, things like our protein deficiencies put us at risk for healing if we have low protein intake. Low calcium can put us at risk for bone fractures and higher risk for osteoporosis. When we have B12 deficiencies, we can be at high risk for anemia, and our vitamin D deficiency puts us at high risk for infection and low bone density. So those are kind of the high deficiencies that we focus on in our geriatric population.
Okay, thank you. Now, I have a number of questions for you, but would you prefer that we hold questions to the end of your presentation or as we go along? What would be your preference?
I think that we can, why don't I have a couple just topics just to focus on, and then why don't we do questions after? Maybe that would be best.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Okay.
We talked about, the deficiencies and the risks to our geriatric population. And you know, res- when we think of our geriatric population and their vulnerability, sometimes we don't always think about malnutrition. And there's a lot of reasons that our geriatric population can fall into deficiencies around nutrition or having malnutrition. And some of those are social, determinants like not having transportation, not having access to a variety of good, healthy fruits and vegetables and produce. So that can be just a high risk factor for our geriatric populations. So offering resources, placing our geriatric population in contact with our community resources, food services, food banks can be very beneficial for them. As we get older, we lose taste buds. Our taste diminishes, and so food isn't as appealing when we're 85 as it was when we were 55. We don't tend to eat as much. We fill faster. Our metabolism is slower, and so food can be, less of an attraction than it was when we were younger. And so, for those geriatric patients who are struggling with eating as, they're not attracted, as not something that they're looking forward to, offering or trying different spices to enhance food can be beneficial. Introducing new flavors and new foods that maybe they haven't tried before can sometimes encourage people to eat a little bit more. And then, obviously, we can always speak to our physicians, or we should, if we are noticing that our geriatric population, maybe a family member or not, or whatnot, or ourselves, are losing weight, or are having further health issues. Maybe we have a wound that's not healing. So those would be times to reach out to your physician and, let them know what's happening. Most healthcare systems nowadays have really good resources around nutrition, have licensed dietitians that do classes, especially for patients who have chronic illness like diabetes or congestive heart failure. There's usually nutrition classes that are offered and available to that population to help make sure that they stay healthy and having good nutritional intake. A couple other, things to think about with our geriatric population is constipation. That can be very prevalent in our geriatric population. And the number one cause of that is just low fluid intake. So making sure that our geriatric population is drinking enough water and staying well hydrated. That will help with our kidney function as well as reducing constipation. When we're constipated, we feel full and bloated, and we're less likely to eat. So high fiber, fruits, vegetables will help keep our bowel system functioning as it should and prevent constipation. And then just our health, our mouth health. So our teeth, our gums, how we're able to chew and break down food can also really affect our nutritional intake when we have geriatric patients. So making sure that if that is an issue, that we're directing those patients to foods that they can easily break down, softer foods, canned foods, those cheeses, cottage cheese, soft foods, peanut butter for protein, things that they can eat easily. So I just wanted to touch base on some of those other reasons that we see nutritional deficiencies in our geriatric population. And then, just the what we can offer and what we, encourage our patients to eat a variety of foods, right? A little bit of fruits and vegetables every meal, some starches, some proteins, some carbohydrates, fibers. So it's not, loading up all on vegetables every meal. It's a variety. Our bodies can only absorb so much minerals and so much nutrients each meal, and we excrete the rest, right? So having a variety that includes a variety of minerals and nutrients is what's best for our body to absorb a healthy amount of nutrition. And multivitamins in our geriatric population. If our geriatric population is not eating well and not able to get a variety of food, oftentimes we can supplement with a multivitamin. Our calcium and vitamin D are oftentimes ordered for our geriatric population. As I know, as I've aged, I take less dairy, sometimes it's because it affects my gut a little bit differently. As we age, we tend to have more difficulty breaking down that lactose and we can get more bloated. And so dairy doesn't always sit well. So we tend to take in less as we age, and that's really important for our bone health and preventing osteoporosis. So sometimes good calcium supplement is necessary. And then, just protein foods. I work with geriatric surgical patients, and we usually encourage patients to, if they're having surgery or considering surgery, to boost up their protein intake. We will order supplements for them to take a week before surgery that are high in protein to really boost up that protein, because that's really important when we have a wound after surgery that needs to heal. We're spending more time in bed. Our muscles are wasting. That protein will help so we don't waste so much muscle. So we will order protein shakes, protein supplements before surgery, and then generally after surgery as well for our patients. So does anyone have any questions? Is there something that else more I can expand on for you?
Yeah,
Does it?
yeah, I think a lot of older adults um, are bored with cooking and shopping, and how do you cut to the chase? Make it simple. What's enough? And that sort of, I mean, we're so bombarded with information these days about, eat this, don't eat that, it's pretty overwhelming. Yeah. But, when you talk about malnutrition, that gets my attention, like really,
Yes.
we're not getting enough protein, is that part of it? That really gets my attention. You want to stay strong, you want to heal, you want to get through your bad cold, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, just,
Yeah.
access to and just how do you manage as you get older to
Mhm.
deal with cooking, shopping, and eating?
Yeah, we hear that from our patients all the time. They just don't want to do that anymore. And if you have the resources, there are great options out there that didn't exist 20, 30 years ago, or even before COVID. We have a lot of home services, meal prep, services that we can order online that can ship, all of the ingredients to our door, for meals, a few meals a day or a week. So those are nice options if you have the resources for that. But yeah, getting out and shopping, I think as we get older and we find less interest in food, incorporating social meals around social events is helpful. Having a morning breakfast or coffee time with people so you can have your, oatmeal or your yogurt and bagel together with other people helps. And maybe, coordinating shopping times as well. Um, Getting out of the grocery store and into the farmer's market. Sometimes you find a little bit more interesting food available and a little bit more variety. Um, and then, pardon? Yeah. And then, as you said, we are bombarded, right, with things. What's not good for us last month is now good for us this month, and vice versa. And really, it is, that variety. Variety really is the key. Moderation, not loading up on all dairy or all protein, but having variety, having a little fruit, a little vegetable at every meal so that our body can absorb the nutrients and minerals it needs. And we have a little bit throughout the day in our varied meals. Go ahead. Mhm.
Yeah, I thought as we were talking, it occurred to me that we should mention things like Meals on Wheels,
Mhm,
um,
mhm.
which is a great program in the Bay Area that you can sign up for and get delivery if your income, it's based on need, but for a lot of elders, there's a lot of financial need too. And that's a fantastic program and you can save it and put the meal as part of another meal and
Yeah,
you got, cooked food in your
Yeah,
refrigerator.
yeah.
right. Yeah. Susan, could you elaborate on if someone is interested in Meals on Wheels, how would they go about getting the service? Um,
I wouldn't be the expert on that, but we could definitely put that out in the next newsletter,
okay.
referring to this webinar, and that and other resources for folks. But I wouldn't be the person in this setting to get that.
Okay.
But
Good. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, important.
Annie has a question.
Well, my husband is on Meals on Wheels. So what
Okay.
you do is get to the website and then just call them up and then I am not quite sure they need a certification from the doctor, but if you can convince them that he cannot shop by himself, whatever, and they will deliver it to you as
Yep.
well once a week, or you can use it try every other week. And in 1 week they will deliver with milk, the other week they will deliver with bread. Yeah, and then basically they will request a charge of $7 and somewhat cents per meal. But however, you can pay whatever you can afford or not pay. They cannot reject your service.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yeah,
And I would,
there's one in the Meals on Wheels. There's one in the Richmond area. Okay. And then but now because of our location, we switch it to the Mount Diablo quarters. So it's in Concord.
Nice.
very good. Thank
Yeah, I
you.
was gonna just say our Alameda County has that resource. I see somebody put the link in the chat, so that's great. You know, your senior services, any of your like your senior centers would have that information as well too. Or your physicians, your physician, your doctor's offices would probably be able to get you those resources as well.
The other suggestion you gave that I think sort of puts things together is socializing eating. To the extent that you can do that, make it part of your life and connecting with other people, you know, to make eating and meals something that's part of your life is also another good approach to
Yes,
a
yeah,
good
thank you. Yeah, thank you, Susan. I was thinking of many of the seniors that I know are isolated and you know, that eating in the community, maybe at a community center, a senior center is really a fabulous way to socialize.
Yeah, yes, for sure. Yeah. I mean, we know, you know, food and socialization have gone together for hundreds of years. But we tend to do it less and less as we get older. So we don't want to forget to include our elderly in that socialization as well. Another idea for you too is, you know, if you know someone who is struggling with food and nutrition, you know, I know I had a 99-year-old mother-in-law, and my daughter loved to cook. And she would just make an extra, you know, little small plate for her in a freezer container. And she was a great cook. And so my mother-in-law was always so thrilled to get, you know, a few of her meals every week that she could. They were tasty and, you know, sometimes you know, a little more exotic than she was used to, so different flavors. So, you know, having a family member just prepare some extra meals a week can really be beneficial as well.
Well, sometimes for socializations, I mean, you could check with the senior centers or the county services because I mean, just like last couple of weeks, they have a huge celebration. Last week they have a huge celebration at the Richmond Auditorium for the Chinese New Year, and tomorrow, North Berkeley Senior or South Berkeley Senior Center has a Black History Month celebration, and they included food, and it's free actually, and so everyone can go, but you have to RSVP. Yeah. So, and then I have another group, an arts and craft class at the Richmond Annex Senior Center, and then we decided to have a potluck right after the class.
Okay. Okay. Great, great, great. Okay.
Does anyone have any questions about any chronic health conditions and how nutrition applies to that, or is struggling with uh, eating something, or having any nutritional intake questions that I can help answer?
Yeah, Cleo, go ahead, honey.
Well, I had just said to myself, I'm tired of cooking. I'm 84 now. And I
Oh,
said, oh, I'm tired of cooking, but I like my own cooking.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
saying
that.
just, I know I'm reaching that point. I said, when I clean out my freezer with all the food, I'm not buying no more food. I got a note on my door. Do not go to the store and buy anything but milk or bread. Because I'm just tired of it. But I know you're giving me some options, and I like that, you know,
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
won't have to be cooking.
I'm sure, I bet you if you reach, I'm sure somebody would love to cook you some extra meals.
Well, I do. I live in senior housing, so usually I cook enough for 3 or 4, and I pass out at least 2 meals to different neighbors. Yeah, they love my
Oh,
cooking
that's
too.
that's wonderful. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, the idea of going to the senior center, I think we sort of can't even talk about that enough. They do provide food, and it is a place to socialize. That's really a really important thing that people can not feel so isolated because
You do have to RSVP though on the senior center meals that they serve. Because
Mhm.
one day I just thought I could stay for lunch, and they said, "Oh no, we don't have a reservation for you yet from yesterday." But it was okay.
Or you can go to just like Panda Express or some and get some meat or whatever, and then just
Mhm.
stir fry with veggie and things like that. That's what I do. I mean, yeah, that's easy cooking. I don't have to. I don't have to. I just got some barbecue chicken and then just like stir fry with some veggie and whatever. Yeah,
Good
and then
idea. Yeah, and then you get those fresh vegetables too.
or you can go to some restaurant. They have luncheon special. We have one in El Cerrito that for $12 or $13 you got noodle soup and then an entree. So you can just like get one of those or two of those and get home and then yes.
Yeah, we have some of those in San Leandro too,
Yeah.
that have restaurants that have a special lunch plate, they call it. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I just went to a presentation at Noctum Society in Oakland. And I got a free meal.
That's a good idea, though. That is a good trick is, as when we, are pinching pennies and don't have the resources we had as we age, focusing on breakfast and lunch, those, if you're going to be eating out, those tend to be less expensive meals.
Mhm.
So avoiding the dinner and getting a lunch or a larger breakfast is sometimes less expensive.
Or there's pantry around. I think in Alameda, there's quite a few food pantry around. You can go, and sometimes they gave you eggs and sandwiches and things like that.
Yeah.
Just like stick in the oven.
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
many meals?
Stacy. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, Stacy, how many meals a day is enough? I mean, is it okay if you only have 2 meals a day?
Yeah.
And, that
Yeah,
seems easier.
yes, absolutely. And really, as for our geriatric patients, sometimes fewer, smaller, more meals is better than one larger meal, or or 2 or 3 larger meals. And two meals can be plenty, maybe with a snack of some dried fruit or fruit in between or nuts, to supplement is fine. I would say, most geriatric patients are not eating 3 full meals a day. Yeah.
Stacey, I wanted to talk about timing in terms, you mentioned 2 meals and maybe skipping dinner. I've found people, if they cut off eating, um, say, for example, 6 o'clock, um, it really helps your digestion, as you sleep, um, and it kind of minimizes stress.
Yeah.
Could you
Yeah.
speak to that a bit?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, you don't want to be having a heavy full meal before bed. Your body needs time to metabolize. When we're in a laying position, it's not the best, for our body to our abdomen to expand and our increased blood flow. So you really want to give yourself a few hours before bed, in between meal and bedtime, and making sure that, I people were asking me, I know there are a couple of people who are midnight snackers. They get up
Yeah.
in the middle of the night and want a snack. And that's I mean, that's fine. I think you just want to be mindful of what you're taking in. So making sure you have, some healthier snacks available, that are easy to access if you're going, to be doing that in the middle of the night. Is important. Having some fresh fruit or, some nuts, something, that's avoid that greasy, heavier food will probably help you sleep a little better. So
Oh, yeah. I see, Susan, you want some suggestions or ideas on healthy snacks. Okay. Yeah.
I think one of the better healthy snacks that are, pretty readily available, are dried fruit. So you're getting your fruit, but it's not, you don't, if it's dried, it's easy to eat. It's easy to store. And it still has a lot of nutritional value. And it lasts a lot longer too, than, a fresh apricot or something that, can spoil pretty quickly on the counter. So I think dried fruit is always a great option. Nuts are a good option too. Healthy, a lot of protein. Um, so those are kind of two good options. Smoothies, if you have a blender and can make up a smoothie, you can freeze part of it. Those are good snack options as well and can be very healthy for you.
Yeah, I vote for smoothies.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, you can throw everything in there, right?
everything.
You
Greens,
can throw
nuts.
green,
Yeah.
and exactly right.
Mhm.
And fruit, and it's starting to go bad, whatever. You put it in there and freeze it. I mean, blend it, and then you can freeze part of it and eat it later.
Yeah, yeah, yep. And that's a great way to keep fruit that is going bad. Your fresh fruits, as they're starting to spoil, cut them up, throw them in a freezer bag, and throw them in your freezer, and use them in your smoothies later. So you can preserve some of those fresh fruits. And like you said, there you can put anything in a smoothie. You can put greens, nuts, yeah, seeds, which are really healthy. I mean, there's just lots of things you can throw in there.
One of
Cottage
my
cheese.
yeah, yeah. One of my favorite snacks would be bananas with peanut butter. I just can't get
Mm,
enough of peanut butter. Yeah.
yeah, that's a great healthy snack. Yeah.
The other thing, since we're on the subject of snacks, whole grain snacks, nowadays you can go and buy these, I don't know, these whole grain snacks. Okay, I'll just,
Mhm.
and they're
Yep.
they're just yummy, and maybe, you can get a lot of fiber.
Yep.
Right? You
Mhm.
get a lot of
Mhm.
fiber. Fiber's so
Sure.
important, yeah.
Yep.
And they're easy to eat, and
Yep.
a little filling, maybe 100, 200
Mhm.
calories.
Yep.
I'll try to find a name of some of the ones but it's a nice thing to have on hand
It
as
is.
a, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Very quick. Can be, as you said, they can be really filling too, right? You get a good oat bran. But I would say the thing to watch too is a lot of them can have a lot of sugar in there. So just be mindful of that. Um, but typically I mean, you can find some really healthy, I'm trying to think of a brand. Um, Kind is a pretty good health, high grain brand, snack bar, high protein. So yeah, you can find some really good easy snack bars out there nowadays. Any other
Any other,
questions?
I'm not a midnight snacker, but actually I try to eat my dinner around 4 or 5, and I don't know when I'm going to bed, but I mean, I don't get up to eat or eat nothing else, anything
Mhm.
else.
Yeah,
And that's good for me.
yeah. You have a good breakfast in the morning?
Yes, I eat breakfast. I remember what my grandma said. Breakfast is the best meal of the day.
All
I
right.
have breakfast.
It is an important meal. It breaks our fast. So
Mm.
having a healthy breakfast is very important.
And then you're not grumpy.
Hangry.
Yeah.
Uh, Stacy, we mentioned if you have dental problems or, concern as we get older, we do have concerns with uh, dental problems.
Mhm.
Have you any advice on that?
Yeah, for sure, making, if you're having some loose teeth or difficulty chewing because of lost teeth, I would, encourage you to reach out to your dentist. Dentures, sometimes our dentures stop fitting well if we're losing weight, or have changes, and that can affect, chewing. So, sometimes softer foods are better for that, so leaning towards your cottage cheese, your soft dairy, peanut butter for protein if you can't chew those nuts, um uh cutting up in small pieces meat, or eating more minced meats or stewed meat will help with that as well. So leaning towards sometimes softer foods.
Bless you.
God
Excuse
bless you.
me.
God bless you.
Bless you. Bless you. How's the weather there in Hawaii,
Can you
Susan?
tell?
Okay. Okay.
Another thing I wanted to suggest too, a lot of the senior centers, and we kind of talked about resources out there. Some of them will offer cooking classes for seniors. So that can be a great way to be introduced to a new culture of food or a new style of cooking that you may not be used to. For those, I've heard a couple of time from a couple of you, you just don't want to cook anymore, or don't like to cook anymore. Maybe getting a new appliance like a toaster oven or small pressure cooker, helps kind of encourage you to try different types of cooking methods, can sometimes bring about a little renewed interest in cooking that maybe has fallen off. So maybe asking when it's your birthday, asking your kids to purchase a new appliance for you so you can experiment a little bit more, might help bring about some new interest.
Also, it's very important to stay physically active. That really, is very necessary for digestion and good nutrition and all the above. I know Susan can speak to that with the exercise classes and that sort of thing.
It's true. It improves your appetite,
Mm-hmm.
to exercise. You have the energy to want to eat, and it just gets your whole metabolism going. I couldn't help myself, but I just wanted to share this particular snack.
Nice.
Oz-
Nice.
Okay. And
Ozzy,
Aussie bite. And it's not the one healthy, it isn't the one, but it is really a wonderful snack because it has oats, right? Oats, we love oats, yes. Dried fruit and seeds, coconut, a lot of fiber.
Yeah.
It's a really yummy, easy, high fiber. It's just an idea. It's just an
Yeah.
idea. But good snacks is a really good thing to be into when you're older, because
Yeah.
who wants to have a big meal?
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finding
Anyway.
a good snack that's tasty can be a game changer.
I wanted to revisit a economical and healthy way to handle leftovers. We go out to eat a couple of times a week, and I love to order this one chicken salad that has cucumbers in it and everything, and I don't use dressing. So I eat half the salad and then bring it home. I did this just this morning. I whip up a couple of eggs and I heat up the salad as if it's a hot dish rather than a cold
Wow.
dish.
Oh,
And
wow.
then I flavor the eggs before I add the eggs, and I make it into kind of an omelet. And it's really, talk about getting a bang for your buck. It's nutritious, but it's also, you're not wasting food that you didn't eat, and or overeating because you don't want to leave a plate on the table that is full. So it's I like to invent different dishes based on what my leftovers are.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
That's great. Great
Yeah,
It's a
idea.
huge
I
and
know.
important topic, leftovers.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
great though, because
Winning ways with leftovers, I'll tell you.
You could write a book.
I like stir fry, and the other day I did a stir fry eggplant with broccoli, carrots, and celery and onion in the skillet, and had some rice. It was good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Boy, that's a good one. And stir frying, you don't tend to overcook or overboil your vegetables. The nutrients tend to stay in a stir fry better than steaming and other methods. And you're getting that wonderful fiber. That's a great idea.
Thank
Stir
you.
fry. Stir fry. Definitely, stir fry is something you can use lots of leftovers in.
Yeah,
Absolutely
I do.
can.
And you can put all the good stuff in it, high fiber, the vegetables, yeah.
That's great. Karen, thank you for that idea because I usually go out about twice a week to eat, and I'll eat half the salad there and then bring the rest home and put it in the refrigerator. And then the next day I throw it away.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
but now, but
Well,
now I'm gonna,
it's kind of a way for me too to think outside the box. The
Mhm.
salad is cold and meant to be eaten cold, but reinventing it as a hot dish with a binder like eggs gives it a different incarnation.
Mhm.
So you get to be a little creative with something that's mostly already put together,
Yeah.
and you get that extra protein there.
and you get the extra protein.
Yeah, I don't know about you all, but I hate throwing away food.
Me
Oh,
too.
yeah.
I
It's
won't do it.
painful, painful,
I will
painful.
not do it.
So finding ways, creative ways like you're suggesting, Karen, to use leftovers or
Mhm.
from a, eating out,
Yeah.
that just rocks my boat. That I'm all up for that.
Yeah.
Watch your
Be a
boat.
little creative about it too, I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of us don't want to cook so much anymore, but when it's partially already prepared and then you put your touches on it with stuff that you have in the fridge, you get to have the creative bent of cooking without all the mess and
Mhm.
labor.
Yeah, there's a couple of cooking apps too where you can put in the ingredients you have and it will come up with a recipe for
Great
you.
idea.
Oh, okay. Mm.
How many times do we open the fridge? We've got all the makings, but our sense of creativity is taking a back road somewhere. And if you have that app, you go, I could do that with that.
I make a soup.
Like sun-dried tomatoes that are in oil and then you blot the bejeebies out of them. But sun-dried tomatoes will give a lot of punch to food that is kind of bland.
Yeah, that's a great ingredient to
It
add to.
is.
Yeah, and you don't even have to have an app. to do what you're suggesting. I mean, you can just go to Google and say
Yeah.
recipes
Right.
with
Right.
broccoli.
Right.
Yes, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, earlier, Stacy, you mentioned the value of maybe taking a cooking class, and I wanted to mention that the public health department came and did a 6-week class on cooking for our memory care people, and some of the people got a certificate, some sort of certificate, for completing the class, and that's a great idea. It's a great idea. The other thing, a little change of the subject, I love my morning coffee, but I can only have 1 or 2 cups. I feel it causes me a little stress. And can you speak to how we can more effectively manage our levels of stress?
Yeah. Ooh, good one. Well, for some, eating is a way to help manage stress. But we want to do it in a healthy way, of course. But yeah, coffee, it has its benefits. But then it can have, some non-healthy benefits. It can, increase our heart rate. It can cause arrhythmias. But it gives us kind of a nice little boost in the morning, right? And so, for one thing I've done is, because I've noticed as I've gotten older, I get a little jittery now with coffee, and I can feel my heart racing up. So I've done more tea. I've switched to more tea, to just because I like warm. I like that warmth. But tea is a better, healthier option for sure. And I drink a lot of cream in my coffee, so that's never a good thing. So tea is a better option for me. And I think we need to ask the question why we're stressed, right? We need to kind of get to the root cause, and are you unhappy? What's causing that stress? And sometimes food can help with it, and sometimes we need to figure out what the stress is about, and food can be the crutch. So but yeah, healthy eating overall will probably make you feel better, provide you a little bit more energy, get you, your body more regulated, and help you sleep better at night, and overall should make you feel better.
I was going to say too, Reverend Barbara, I don't know if you drink coffee on an empty stomach, but I read an article recently that we shouldn't, it is not advisable, I hate should, it's not advisable to drink coffee on an empty stomach, that we should have some kind of, if it's only water, something to preclude the taking of coffee. I tend to get stomach issues if I have too much acid in my stomach with coffee. So what I've taken to doing is 2 or 3 tablespoons of yogurt before I have my coffee to kind of cushion things down before I assault it with my much loved, beloved coffee. I won't give up my coffee, so I'm going to find a way to work around it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, well, I have to share this. So I love coffee, and and cream, it's like, well, that's just got all that fat. I mean, what good
I
is
know.
all those calories in cream? So here's a solution. Get dried non-fat milk. Okay.
Oh,
And put it in your blender or whatever, and just make it as thick as you like it. And I'm telling you, it's as good, better than cream. And then you get all that protein. And we actually, my wife and I ordered this non-instant milk. online,
Okay.
so it's really the real thing, and you blend it up and you just get this hit of calcium and protein and yummy in your coffee. I just had to share that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, I'm hungry now.
I'm
I
hungry.
haven't had lunch. So, yeah.
Mm. Mm.
Drink decaf coffee and caffeine-free teas. I don't have any caffeine. My doctor suggested that to me about in 2010, I think, and I just switched right over.
Wow.
Well, my other alternative is almond milk or coconut milk. Coconut milk.
Yeah, I do.
And I hear cashews are really good for you. I eat cashew ice cream. So
Oh,
yeah.
I never even heard of cashew ice cream.
Oh yeah, yeah, cashew ice
Oh, yeah.
cream.
Okay.
Yeah, cashews make a wonderful creamy sauce.
Mm.
Oh
God.
yeah.
yep.
Oh yeah, look up cashew. Let's see, what would it be? Cashew yogurt or something? Cashew cream.
Cream.
Ice cream.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Okay. Thank you. I see we have about 7 minutes left. Any lasting questions for Stacy or any of us at Daybreak? We're so happy that you joined in today,
Thank you.
and wonderful tips, wonderful ideas. Yeah.
I'm really glad I came, and it was very informative, and really, I'm really glad.
Well, good, good. Well, thank you for inviting me. I enjoy sharing, as much as I can with about our geriatrics and patients and how to make them healthier and make those last years golden, right? That's what it's about.
Mhm.
Make those last years golden. All right,
Mhm.
golden. Yes. Okay, thank you. Well, it looks like we're about ready to wrap up. And once again, I thank you from the bottom of my heart and soul that you joined us today. And Stacy, you did a wonderful job and hope to see you soon.
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you.
All right. Thank you for the invite. Have a great day, you guys.
All
Thank
right,
you
thank
so
you.
much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I do it too. Okay, there's mine.